Have you ever wondered what goes on in the mind of a narcissist? Or perhaps you're curious about what kinds of books a narcissist might read. Well, you're not alone. Narcissists, like anyone else, have preferences and tendencies when it comes to their reading habits, though their choices can reveal a lot about their personality and worldview. In today's video, we're diving deep into the top 5 books that narcissists tend to gravitate toward. Whether these books serve to fuel their inflated egos or confirm their distorted self-image, each title speaks volumes about how they perceive themselves and the world around them. If you're looking to better understand narcissism, this video is a must-watch. So grab a seat and let's explore the fascinating and sometimes disturbing reading list of a narcissist. Do you have any experience with narcissists or their behavior? Have you ever noticed the kinds of books they read? Number 1. Withhold admiration. Narcissists thrive on constant praise and admiration as it fuels their inflated sense of self-worth. They rely heavily on external validation to maintain their fragile ego, and when they don't get the attention or compliments they expect, it strikes a nerve. By withholding admiration, you deprive them of the very thing they crave, which forces them to face their insecurities. This simple act of not feeding into their ego can make them feel insignificant and powerless, creating frustration. Narcissists have a difficult time accepting that not everyone will bend to their need for praise, and when you stop indulging their desire for constant admiration, it often leaves them grasping for validation elsewhere, often in increasingly desperate and erratic ways. The key here is to remain neutral and avoid reinforcing their grandiose self-image. When they fish for compliments, respond with indifference or be direct without inflating their sense of importance. This approach will confuse and irritate them because they can no longer manipulate your attention or admiration. Over time, this strategy will start to erode their sense of control, making them more unpredictable and less confident in their ability to dominate your thoughts and feelings. By denying them the admiration they depend on, you're not only taking back control but also sending a strong message that you won't be swayed by their manipulative tactics. Number 2. Call out their hypocrisy. Narcissists thrive on presenting themselves as flawless, often holding others to impossibly high standards while excusing their own behavior. Their hypocrisy knows no bounds. What they demand from others, they themselves will never deliver. By calling out their contradictions, you force them to confront the dissonance between their words and actions, something they can't easily defend. Narcissists are skilled at deflecting blame and manipulating others, but when their hypocrisy is exposed, it shakes their carefully crafted image. Pointing out their double standards or inconsistencies not only makes them uncomfortable but also undermines their sense of superiority, which they are desperate to protect. This challenges their illusion of being perfect, something that hits right at the core of their fragile ego. When you call out their hypocrisy, do so with calm precision. Avoiding emotional outbursts or getting caught up in their defensive reactions. Narcissists are master manipulators, and they may try to turn the tables or gaslight you, but staying firm and sticking to the facts will leave them with little room to maneuver. They hate being exposed for what they truly are: flawed, selfish, and often deceitful. The more you expose their contradictions, the more their insecurity will grow, making them miserable in the process. As their false image starts to crumble, they may lash out or retreat, but either way, you've successfully shaken their foundation and stripped away some of their power. Number 3. Show independence. Narcissists crave control over and around them, and one of the biggest threats to their fragile sense of superiority is seeing others thrive without their approval. When you show independence, whether through personal achievements, relationships, or simply making decisions on your own, you send a powerful message that you don't need them to succeed. This disrupts their carefully constructed world where they believe they should always be the center of attention. Narcissists can't stand the idea of someone succeeding without their validation, and they'll be shaken to their core when they realize they have no hold over your personal growth or happiness. Your independence challenges their sense of control and makes them feel insignificant, which in turn drives them crazy. To truly make a narcissist miserable, consistently demonstrate that you are self-reliant and confident in your own ability. Pursue your passions without seeking their approval, and don't let their criticism or attempts at undermining you affect your confidence. The more you achieve and the more you assert your independence, the more you undermine their need to dominate. Narcissists will often try to belittle your accomplishments or make you feel like you owe them something, but standing your ground and showing that you are unaffected by their manipulations will only intensify their frustration. The more you embrace your independence, the less power they have over you, leaving them powerless and miserable as they try to regain control of a life they no longer influence. Number 4. Set strong boundaries. Narcissists thrive on manipulating others and violating personal space, whether emotional, mental, or physical. Setting strong boundaries with a narcissist is one of the most powerful ways to make them miserable. They rely on controlling their environment and the people around them, and when you refuse to tolerate their overbearing behavior, it disrupts their sense of power. By establishing clear and firm boundaries, you show them that you won't be easily manipulated or disrespected. Narcissists hate being told no because it challenges their belief that they should always get their way. When you consistently enforce your limits, they'll quickly realize they can't push you around like they do with others, which forces them to confront their lack of control. The key to setting strong boundaries is consistency. Whether it's saying no to their demands, protecting your emotional well-being, or refusing to engage in their manipulative games, you need to stand your ground without backing down. Narcissists will test your boundaries, trying to guilt-trip, belittle, or gaslight you into compliance. But when you remain firm and confident, you break their cycle of control. Over time, they'll become increasingly frustrated and disoriented, unable to dominate your thoughts or dictate your actions. Setting strong boundaries not only protects you from their toxic behavior, but also sends a clear message that you value your own self-worth far more than their manipulative tactics ever could. Number 5. Expose their lack of empathy. Narcissists are often emotionally detached, unable to genuinely connect with the feelings of others. They see the world through a lens of self-interest, caring little about the impact of their actions on those around them. By exposing their lack of empathy, you reveal the true nature of their personality, stripping away the facade of fake kindness they work so hard to maintain. Narcissists hate being confronted with their emotional coldness because it directly challenges their carefully constructed image of being superior, caring, or compassionate. When you call them out on their lack of empathy, it not only makes them uncomfortable but also forces them to face the reality that they cannot manipulate or emotionally control you with their shallow gestures of kindness. The best way to expose their lack of empathy is to highlight situations where they fail to show concern for others' emotions or needs. Point out instances where they disregard someone's feelings, trivialize their pain, or act out of self-interest without considering the consequences. Be calm and direct without getting emotionally involved in their response. Narcissists may attempt to deflect, deny, or gaslight you, but the more you stay consistent in pointing out their emotional neglect, the more you diminish their power. Over time, as they realize their manipulative tactics aren't working, they'll become frustrated and unable to maintain their false persona. Exposing their lack of empathy not only makes them feel exposed, but also takes away their ability to control the narrative they've spun around themselves. Number 6. Walk away or cut ties. One of the most powerful ways to make a narcissist miserable is to simply walk away or cut ties completely. Narcissists thrive on control and often believe they can manipulate or emotionally dominate others for as long as they wish. When you remove yourself from the situation, whether it's a friendship, romantic relationship, or professional connection, you take away the one thing they fear the most: losing control. They may try to guilt-trip you, belittle you, or even escalate their efforts to maintain their hold over you. But when you walk away, you send a clear message that their manipulation no longer works. Narcissists absolutely hate being abandoned or rejected because it exposes their vulnerability and undermines their inflated sense of self-worth. This abandonment causes them to feel worthless and fuels their rage, which can drive them to act out or retreat into a spiral of frustration. Cutting ties doesn't just mean physically walking away, it also involves emotionally detaching and refusing to engage in any further manipulative games. If you continue to entertain their toxic behavior, even from a distance, you're allowing them to maintain control over you. By cutting off communication completely, you remove their ability to emotionally drain you and disrupt your life. Narcissists can't stand the idea of being ignored or dismissed, and this action forces them to confront the reality that they can no longer dictate your emotions or manipulate your actions. As they scramble to regain control or attention, you've taken back your power and are no longer a pawn in their game. Walking away or cutting ties sends a message that you value your peace and well-being over their toxic influence, making them feel powerless and irrelevant in your life. By using these 6 strategies, you can make a narcissist miserable and regain your power. Don't let them control your life any longer.